you okay? I think one of the most difficult periods of my life has been at Northern Stage or during Northern Stage. I think I had a really difficult time at school during my A-levels, and there wasn't very many people to turn to at my school because it was very, very different from everybody else's. It was full of pressure and full of idealized versions of the girls that would go there. Like, all of them would want to be doctors or lawyers or accountants, and I would go there and I would be like, I want to be an actor, I want to prance around a stage, yay! And there was just such a lack of understanding, and a lack of understanding in the mental health department as well, and I just ended up in a dark pit of a hole, really, is the only way I can put it. And I think it absolutely dashed my self-confidence. I had no confidence in myself whatsoever. And it kind of put me back to square one with where I was, because I thought when I started Young Company, it was a place for me to start fresh, and I used it as that, and it was the songs and the music and the way that I could immerse myself fully in it and just feel everything openly, where I had to just keep it all bottled up inside and just be silent and try and get on with everything. And then I could come here, write songs, or just sing in a big group, which is so nice. And kind of kept it very quiet at Northern Stage, but they just helped me so much, and I don't really think that they know how much they have helped me. Like, doing film, I had nowhere that I could do film before, and I had this chance to ask people questions and be listened to and hear all these lush stories about people that were like me or people that had gone through similar things. And yeah, and I was able to see a story about a young girl who was going deaf and had a disabled parent, who was played by Izzy Donkin, who was one of our alumni. And I'd never seen it before because my brother's got a disability, he's got epilepsy, and I'd never seen it portrayed in a way in which it wasn't trivialized and sugar-coated and, I don't know, just completely ruined in the mush that writing can be sometimes when you're trying to write about something that you don't know about. And it was just so nice to sit back and see a little part of myself, just someone that feels so disconnected from where they are, to be brought into such a massive and open space and just be like, this is who you are. You're allowed to be who you are. And we're happy that you are who you are, which was really nice for me to see and to feel. But yeah.
Do you want to say any sort of messages about, about Northern Stage turning 50?
Oh God.
Future?
Do you mind? Jeez. I wish I'd been around before now, because all I know is Northern Stage now. And all I can think of when you ask me about the 50 years of Northern Stage, I'm like, are you joking? There'll be like 50 more. It's too good to stop. Like, people just get so excited by it, and I don't know how to put it. I'm like trying to think of the words. What is it? What am I trying to get out of my head? literally, it's like everything that you could think in your head that you can't get out of your head in one space. And that's very good for me because I can't articulate things properly, as many people know. And 50 years is such a massive landmark. We've seen so many like artistic directors come and go and leave their mark on a place that we all love and have a new place to love as well. And make our mark here as well, and let the people that live here leave their mark on Biker. And I just know that we're going to stretch really far with our connections with people. Like we've got ETT that we're working with, and Payne's Plough. Like there's some amazing people, and I think Northern Stage is such an amazing stepping stone for a lot of people, but a place and a home for a lot of people, and that's why I think that there will be 50 more years for people to love Northern Stage, and there'll be so many more after that. So yeah.
Okay, so crazy idea.
Whoa.
Okay, could you tell me about your first ever experience at Northern Stage?
Oh God. To do with Young Company or just in general?
Just in general.
I think the first time I'd stepped foot in Northern Stage was when I had applied to just do like a little pre-show thing for Juice Festival, for a little show. And I just thought it was amazing because it's quite hidden away. In Newcastle, you don't really expect it to be within the uni, and I'd never even been near the uni before because it scared me too much. And so we just did a little bit of a devised piece, and I met like a few of the people in Young Company there as well.
So the first sentence again, but tell me what year it was.
Oh my God. What year was it? I was 16. 2017? Right. I think the first time that I stepped foot into Northern Stage was when I was 16 in 2017. And it was to do a little devised pre-show piece for Juice Festival. And yeah, I don't know what is it.
Okay, and so then you were first part of, I don't know what it was called.
The Collective.
The Collective,
Yeah.
So talk about, can you talk about the Collective and then into Young Company, please, and into where do we stand?
Yeah. So I first started off in the Collective after I'd done the little festival, and we basically just did little devised pieces about how it was like to be in Newcastle as a young person. And over time, they'd kind of decided that it was going to be a show in the end, so they brought the Young Company and the Collective together to make a big Young Company. And during Where Do We Stand, we just talked to kind of like Louis and the team about our feelings about living in Newcastle or like the surrounding area, and what is always missed out of plays, and like what parts of ourselves aren't in the work that we see generally. And it just created like a culmination of, I don't know, like stories about love, about race, about your sexuality, everything that we hadn't seen before, and everything that we felt that represented us on the stage, which was quite cool.
And they talk about the different sort of disciplines of it, like what you know, theatre, music, film, all that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. So I didn't really go to Northern Stage thinking that I would actually end up being really interested in multiple facets of like theatre, but not just theatre, film, TV. I ended up starting to write songs when I was doing the plays and chatted to Mark about them, and we'd like just have a bit of a play, have a bit of a jam during sessions. And then I joined the Northern Stage filmmakers, and we made a film called Strike and documentaries, and chatted to really interesting people and just heard loads of really cool stories that literally still stick with me now. So.
And tell me about what it was like to be part of that group, about the bonding and the sense of self and all that jazz.
It was really nice to just be around a group of people that shared the same kind of like passion as you. I was born in Newcastle and I lived in Newcastle for a little bit, and a lot of my family's around here, but I moved away to like County Durham, and I hadn't really had the strongest connection with the city as I would have liked to until Northern Stage, and we just it provided me with a network of people that supported me so much and gave me the confidence to actually attempt to do what I wanted to do without stress and without kind of like pressure, and we've just been friends ever since. People that have left, people that have started, but yeah.
About different shows you've done up to this one.
Yeah.
And talk about the people you've worked with, like Louis
Yeah.
and Lee.
Yeah. Oh my God, what's this one called?
I don't know actually. What's this show?
Welcome to Biker. Do I talk about just Young Company?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want. But I'd like to talk about Lee.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been a part of a few different shows at Northern Stage within the Young Company. So I've done Where Do We Stand, which is our first kind of like ensemble piece. And it was where I first kind of like met Louis and Mark and Lee. Lee was like part of the writers team to kind of shape the pieces. So when we were chatting a rubbish, Lee would, I don't know, sit in the corner and type something cool and make like an amazing kind of poem, spoken word kind of piece that would encapsulate everything that we could have even possibly have thought of. And he writes so well for like young people, because I think it can be a little bit patronizing sometimes, where it's like, oh, this is how young people speak, LOL, like that, like, and it's just so infuriating to watch. But yeah. And when we kind of like finished that show and started to develop Where Do We Belong, it was when I was given a little bit more of a responsibility, a little bit of a bigger role, and I decided to kind of explore music, because Mark, who does the sound for the shows, really kind of like inspired me, because his soundscapes are so beautiful, and whenever I would go to rehearsals I would just feel really inspired and just really want to write something or just like hum a tune. And I think the first song that I ever properly wrote was from a rehearsal on the Metro to Tynemouth to see a friend, and I think I came in the next day and I was like, Mark, I'm really nervous, but like, can I sing this song? And he's like, yeah, man. And we just kind of like twiddled with the guitar and made a little thing of it. And I've kind of done it ever since. And that's kind of what, I don't know, I think I kind of thank Mark for that. And Louis, I mean, Louis is just the backbone of everything. I mean, nothing could actually like function without her. She's so caring, and I keep using the word inspiring, but I mean all the people are, like that's what they are. She just lifts us up, and she knows exactly kind of when to approach particular subjects and when to kind of like stay away from them, how deep we want to delve into things, and you can just really tell that it's not just a kind of one-time thing. She wants to develop us as like young people and performers, but as like ourselves as well, and allows us the room to like grow within ourselves, within rehearsals and within a space, and just provides us the platform in which we can do that as well.
And just to expand a little bit on that, just talk about, mention her full names,
Yeah.
But just talk about what it's like, you know, you're just saying about the patronising thing of like in some new theatres, it's patronising, but the fact that you get to work with actual, I mean, like, I'd love to do lead,
Yeah.
Like, Louis as a director and Mark as a musical director, like,
Yeah.
talk about working with proper, at the top of their game, professionals, as
Yeah.
opposed to, oh, we're going to do Annie.
I'm gonna do Annie. Right. Oh my God, why is Mark's name gone out of my head? Mark, what's Mark's last name? Oh my God. I think there's like a blanket idea of what like a young company is, and I think some people think of just a bunch of kids running about, forgetting their lines, just in a bit of a basic kind of like black box, with just, I don't know, doing a show of Annie and working with people like Lee Mattinson, the writer, is mad because they are, all of the people that work on our shows are at the top of their game, and Lee writes with such understanding of young people. It's not patronizing, because I think sometimes when you watch a TV show, and clearly a 40-year-old writer who has no kids or can't really remember what it is to be young, starts writing about someone that is supposed to represent who you are, it can become a bit disjointed, and you just feel like you as a person aren't represented on screen, and it can just be a bit like, yeah, LOL, like that's not how we talk, and it's a bit silly, to be honest. And Lee just gets it. Lee just listens to us. He's the best listener ever, and he just takes all of our thoughts and somehow smushes them together in a really beautiful way and makes a spoken word piece about about living in the north, a piece that I did with a guy called Cooper and Luke on housing, how difficult it was for young people to find like a forever home, which is quite a common thing now, unfortunately. But yeah, and Mark Melville, the guy that does the sound for the shows, is just insane. Like, he just sits in his corner while we're rehearsing, listening to what we're doing, figuring out like the beats that he can kind of pick up on and charge it with this emotional, this emotion-filled soundscape, which perfectly encapsulates everything behind what you're saying. And he's just given all of us, including myself, the confidence to do anything. I went to Young Company totally afraid to sing in front of people, and there's just all this backing behind you, and you just feel like you could do anything you wanted to do. And Louie, I just feel so lucky to have her here. Like, she's so unbelievable, and at moments you're like, why is she giving me her time? Like, why is she even with us in a Young Company? But she just really cares about us all and puts everything into it, and she treats us like actual performers rather than just kids running about like in a theatre, which is really nice, because I think respect in like the industry goes both ways when you're growing into yourself as a performer and as a person. So yeah, I can't thank her enough for that.
Can you talk about being a biker? Like, why you're a biker? What's the important thing about biker?
Yeah.
The rehearsal here, and then the connection to the community of biker.
Yeah.
That really important.
Yeah. So we're here today because we're rehearsing for a new show called Welcome to Biker, and we're in the rehearsal room that we've been rehearsing in for the past couple of days. And basically, the way that this has come about is Louis Ingham started up this connection with Biker Community Centre and the people within Biker to basically just bring light to people that seem to be forgotten sometimes, which is so stupid, because the people around here are so colourful and full of life. And there's weeks in summer where Northern Stage come and volunteer and teach the children like arts and crafts, and just give them a really good time and give them a sense of community within a community, and to let them know that there are people across the river that actually want to help them and just see them flourish into themselves, and for them to know that not everybody thinks that bike is this rough place where you just will stay forever, and and I don't know another way to put it apart from the fact that Biker is a beautiful place that gets forgotten a lot, and I really hope that the work that we do here really brings light to those people and the stories that need to be told. But yeah.
Okay, a few quick questions. So,
yeah.
What's your favourite memory at Northern Stage?
Oh my God, that's so hard. That's so hard. I think one of my favourite memories from Northern Stage has to be when we were just all on the stage in the middle of doing Where Do We Belong, and the whole band was beside me, and I had a microphone in front of my face, and Eddie, another performer, was just standing next to me singing, and we both kind of looked at each other, and we were just like, yeah, this is it, isn't it? This is it. And it was a bit of my head opened moment to everything around me, and I just felt everything within the lyrics and felt everything that was happening on the stage in front of me, and it was just very visceral and felt like I was in a dream. But then, on the other side of that, I mean, another thing that happened was, Sting accidentally walked into our rehearsal room, which was quite surreal. And we were just sitting there having a bit of a chat, and he was like, "Hi guys, you all right?" And he just left. And I was like, sick.
Why was Sting there?
Huh? Why was Sting there? Sting was there because The Last Ship was on at the Northern Stage when Lorne Campbell was directing it, and really nicely they gave us some tickets to go and see like one of the first runs of it, and it was so good, man. It was like so nice to see like a Geordie story on stage with songs in it. Like it was so amazing and just full of it was just full of like family and full of everything that the North is, which is so lush to see.